Hello guys, and welcome to our second Drupal lesson, part 2. In this lesson, I will teach you what a content type is and how to create and modify content types, what's a node, and how to create different node views pages. Oh, and as a bonus, I'll give you a list of my most used modules. Let's start with content types. Drupal content types are predefined collections of data types of fields, which relate to each other by an informational context. In this sense, context means parts that should be considered as a correlated whole. Think of the human body. It is composed of arms, legs, organs, bones, and lots of other information. A content type defines various default settings for an item of that type, such as whether a node is published automatically, whether comments are permitted, whether it should appear by default in some menu, the author name, etc. Content types are how site editors can input content on a Drupal site. All posts that exist on a site are instances of a content type. Each time you create a post, a page, an article, a project, etc., a content type is being used to hold the items you enter. When you save the post, you have created a node using a content type. Content types also use permissions. For all content types or for each content types, there are permissions to create, delete any, delete own, edit any, edit own, revert revisions, and view revisions. This can be set by user role. Nodes. Nodes are any piece of individual content, such as a page, an article, forum topic, project, or a blog entry. Comments are not stored as nodes, but are always connected to one. All content on a Drupal site is stored and treated as nodes. Each node belongs to a single content type. You should say that the content type is the definition of the node. When to create a new content type? Well, when you know that you would have multiple nodes of the same time, but with different data. For example, for a travel agency, you would have multiple trips. For an animal breed site, you will have multiple breeds description. For a blog, you will need the posts and articles. Let's take the case of the articles. Each article is a node. On a site, you can have multiple articles. All articles belong to the same content type. The article structure is the content type. By structure, I mean the title field, body, publish date, author, images, etc. To start with, be sure to have a Drupal 7 instance. I'll use the same one from our first lesson. You will find the URL to that lesson in this video's description. To be able to make configuration changes, you will need an administrator account. You can use the admin user that you've created with the Drupal instance or create a new one and give it the administrator role. In this video's description, you will find a URL to part 1 of this lesson, where I've showed you how to create a new user. I'm already logged in with that newly created account. Okay, moving forward. Let's suppose that we want to create a portfolio site. What would we need? Well, definitely a content type for projects and one for basic pages. By default, if you choose standard profile when you installed your Drupal instance, you would already have article and basic page content types. Let's check both of them and see what fields they have. Click Structure, then Content Types. Here are the two content types. Let's check what we have if we click Edit from the row with the article content type. So, we have the name of the content type, article, its machine name, that is editable, then a text area field where you can say a few words about the content type. Then, in the Submissions Form Settings tab, the label of the title field, if you want to preview the node before submitting. Usually I disable this option. On the Publishing Option tab, you can tell Drupal to automatically publish a node to make it visible for not logged in users, to promote it to front page, but if you override the default homepage, this field would work as just another flag. Create new revisions if you need to keep track of changes and approve changes. On Display Settings tab, you have the Display Author and Date information. Again, since you'd probably change the default view page, this setting would not be visible. On Comment Settings tab, you can activate or deactivate comment form for this content type, with options Open, Close, Hidden. You can choose threading, comments per page, comment title, replay form, comment preview. On the More Settings tab, you can choose to automatically add a node to a menu. You'll get a list of all of the menus here. Then you can choose the parent, if it's the top level menu or a child of it. You can also delete the content type from here. Now under Manage Fields tab, click it. Here you'll get a list of all the fields for the content type. Title and body will be added by default for every new content that you'll add. You'll also have two extra fields, tags with a field type of term reference, meaning that you'll have a taxonomy item here, and image with a field type of, well, image. You also have edit and delete links for all of them except for title. You'll need an extra module called title to be able to edit it. On the Manage Display tab, you can choose what fields to display to the front user. You can drag and hide some of them. Hide the label of the field. Change format display. You can also activate new custom display settings. Because teaser is activated, you will see it as a sub-tab. Click teaser and let's hide the body field. Now, teaser display will only have title, image and tags, while default display will have all of them. Comment Fields tab is visible only if comments are enabled for this content type. Here you get 3 main fields for a comment. You can also add new field or an existing one. Comment Display tab is the same as the Manage Display tab. On Custom Display Settings, you see here no extra subtabs. Enable Full Comment. Now you'll have 2 displays, Default and Full Comment. In case you'll have multiple fields, you could have displayed different fields for them. Let's close this and check Basic Page Content Type. Click Structure, then Content Types. Now, for Basic Page, click Edit. For Submission Form settings, everything looks the same. On Publishing Option tab, the Promote to Front page is disabled. On Display Settings tab, the checkbox is disabled. Comments are hidden, not closed. And the More settings are the same. Now, the Manage Fields tab. Here you'll only find title and body fields, the default ones. On Manage Display tab, you'll see that you have 2 displays enabled. On Comment Fields tab, you'll see the same settings as for Article page. Comment Display tab is the same as the original Comment Display tab from Article Content tab. Full Comment is not enabled, even if you enable it for Article. Before creating our project content type, let's disable some modules and add new ones. First thing that I always do on a new Drupal instance is to do some cleaning and disable some modules that I do not need. Color is not needed. We can let comment. Overlay, I always disable this one. It's the module that creates this whole pop-up, where you can see part of the front page. I, personally, do not like this. I want to have separate pages for admin and front user. It's your choice if you would like to see the full admin page or this pop-up like style. Then RDF we won't be using. Toolbar, another module that I always disable, is this menu that's sticky to the top of the page. I always replace Toolbar module with Administration Menu module. The latter one is more useful. You'll get drop-downs for each menu item, and you will only have to click once to get, for example, to Manage Fields tab for a specific content type, and not click 3 times together. We have added Chaos Tools and Views modules in Lesson 1, but on a fresh installation you won't have them. On Citrus Suite you can enable Custom Content Pane, Page Manager, Views Content Panes. On Views package everything is checked. Now click Save Configuration and let's wait for page refresh. Check the URL to see how it will differ after the overlay module is disabled. What you have after =sign will replace everything from node word. And there you go, no toolbar and no overlay. You get the actual modules page. See? host/admin/modules. Now let's add some extra modules. To speed things up, I've already downloaded them and added them to Drupal 7, Sites, All, Modules, Contrib. I've showed you how to choose, download and install modules in Lesson 1. Please check that lesson if you do not remember how to do that. You will find the link to Lesson 1 in this video's description. We have Views and Citrus modules added from Lesson 1. Let's talk about all of them. The first module that I always add is the Administration menu or Admin menu. This is used to replace the toolbar menu and it's a time saver. It not only contains regular menu items but also tasks and actions, enabling fast access to any administrative resource your Drupal site provides. My second module is Panels. This module allows the site administrator to create customized layouts. At its core, it is a drag-and-drop content manager that lets you visually design a layout and place content within that layout. I use it for landing pages, to override system pages such as taxonomies and node page, so that I can customize the layout more easily from the Drupal interface and not only from template files. Then I'll download the Module Filter module. Since the modules page can become quite big, you'll want some sort of a search feature, and this module provides that to you. CK Editor is another useful module. This module will allow Drupal to replace text area fields with a visual HTML editor, usually called a WYSIWYG editor. This module has also a required component, the CK Editor library. Even though it says that the library is not needed on the modules page, once you enable it, you will see that it is required. So download the library and add it to Sites, All, Libraries. Another nice to have module is Media. This module allows you to upload, manage and reuse files and multimedia assets for a Drupal core upload field. It requires file entities, so that should also be downloaded. Date module is also good to have so that you could add date fields. Title modules allows you to translate the default title field for a content type and edit that field. Meta tag module allows you to add meta tags. It is used for SEO, search engine optimization. Meta tag requires token module, so that is also a module to download. Another module is Path Auto. This module automatically generates URL path aliases for nodes, taxonomy terms, user, etc., without requiring the user to manually specify the path alias. The aliases are based upon a pattern system that uses tokens. The administrator can easily change this pattern. jQuery Update module upgrades the version of jQuery in Drupal core to a newer version of jQuery. And Devel module. I use this module to generate content. During your development, when you want to test views or pages, you will need to have content on your site. With this module, you can generate tens of nodes, taxonomy terms, user, etc. in just a few seconds. Now let's go back to our site and refresh the modules page so that Drupal can view these newly added modules. Let's close Core tab. Enable administration menu and module filter. Enable date. You see here that date requires date API. You can enable that or wait for the interface to give you a message of you need to enable date API in order to enable date. Do you want to proceed? Yes or no? Let's enable date API so that we won't break the process. Then devel generate. Here you see a feature package. I did not show that module to you in my browser. Features helps you to put your site's configuration into code so that you can keep track of changes and simply share it with other sites. If you have multiple versions of the site or you add new content types and then want to add the same thing to production, and production already exists, then you should also get this module. I won't enable it now. Title, media, and file entity. Token and path auto. Panels. Meta tag. As you can see, meta tag modules provides multiple modules. Like meta tags for Facebook, for Google+, for Twitter cards. Then CK editor and jQuery update. Click Save Configuration. During the development phase, you will see that other modules are needed, but we will download them when the time comes. We should not load Drupal with multiple modules if they are not needed because of performance issues that can appear. The config options have been saved. Great! As you can see, the admin menu is there. When you go with your mouse over any menu item, a drop-down will appear with other tasks. Now you also see that the modules page looks differently. Nice tabs, based on the modules package. Click all and let's search for panel. You'll get a list of modules that have panel as a component word. Same thing with views word. It does not matter from what package the module comes, it will appear in the list. If you look to the left of the screen next to tabs, you'll see some numbers. All has 5, meaning that there are 5 modules for a search. One is from C-Tools, one is from Dates and Time, one from SEO, and so on. We said that we want to create a portfolio site and that we will need a portfolio content type. Let's create it. Move your mouse over Structure, then Content Type, then click Add Content Type. You can name your content type any way that you like. I'll create the name in a singular form because when you want to add a new node, a new piece of that content type, you say it in a singular form. Create a new article, create a new project, create a new whatever. So, project. Sorry that I was impatient and didn't wait for the page to fully load. No description. Disable preview before submitting. Published. Do not promote to front page. We don't need revisions for this. Uncheck that. Close comment form. Do not create a menu item. Now you can either save and add fields or just save and go back to the list of all content types. Let's add more fields. We can come back at a later time and change the settings, so don't worry if later you will want to, have revisions or publish nodes as a draft. You have title and body fields added by default by Drupal. Then you have a field called meta tags, added by the meta tag module. You cannot edit nor delete this field. It will appear at the bottom of the node add form, so it does not matter its position here. Another field is URL path settings. This one is added by Path Auto module. You cannot edit nor delete this one too. It will too appear at the bottom of the node add form. Next, let's create fields. What do we need? Well, a date field that will hold the start date of the project and maybe an end date also. So, label date. Machine name is automatically added. Field type date. Widget we can choose between text field and select list. Select list. Save. We are requested to add some extra settings, like what we want to collect. We don't need hour and minutes. We want an end date, or we could add a field for that after. Save. Another screen with settings. Is it a required field? Yes. Every project should have a date, at least a start date. Here you can choose how the date should look like. Starting year? Since we are just creating the site, I suppose that you already have a bunch of projects, so minus 10 years. Ending year? We could add 0 years, or let's add +1. Since we do not collect time, the time settings are not needed. Where to add the labels? Well, above. Choose for each if it is a select list or a text field. We can choose default values. Default date, now. Default end date, let's add none. Here you are telling Drupal the number of values a field should have, 1 to 10 or unlimited number. Let's let 1. You should always check all other settings options, just to be sure they are okay. Done. Date field added. Now let's check how the page looks like. Go over content, then add content, then click project. I'll open it in a new window. So this is the node form. You have title, body, and the date field. If you click the checkbox, the end date would appear. You also have some extra tabs. Let's check those also. Even though on main content types you gave default values, you can still alter them for each node. Node revisions, comments, by default they are closed, but you can open them. URL path aliases. The URL alias will be generated automatically after you add a title and save the node. If you will not like them, you can uncheck this box and add the one that you want. Meta tags are completed with default values. You, as an admin, can change them from a module settings page. I'll make a new video where I'll talk about that. Authoring information tells you who created a node and it is by default completed. Admin 2 because I'm logged in with that user. Authored on would be added after you save the node. It could take you several minutes to complete all fields, so Drupal wants to be as exact as possible and adds the exact date from after you save the content. Publishing options, again you can select if you want the node to be published or not, if it's promoted or sticky. Now let's add some more fields. what do we want next? When you think of a project, beside the title, body and project date, you'll also want to add some tags, some words that relate to the project, like saying what apps, what technology, etc. you've used in creating the project. If you remember, article content type already had a field named tags field. Since with date, I showed you how to add a new field. With tags, let's add an existing field. Go under machine name and click the select list. Select tags. Label and widget are automatically completed. Now save. We will still get a form to change some settings. Here you see that the number is unlimited and that the vocabulary is set to tags. When you have multiple vocabs, they will show up here. Save and the field is added. Now, every project should have an image. Let's use the already created image field in the article content type. Let's change the label to main image and let's make it required. You can also add file extensions on a default image. File directory. It's nice to group images based on the content type so that you can find them easily. Minimum and maximum resolutions, upload side. Let's enable alt and title for SEO purposes. Let's change the preview image style to medium. Number of values 1. Upload destination, public file. Now we will use this main image as a header or in listings, but for a project, only one image might not be enough to describe it. So let's add a new field called images. That will allow the option to add multiple images and create a slider. Let's change the widget to media browser so that you will see the difference between widgets. See? Previous image field had the default Drupal core widget. No changes here. Save. OK. Should this be required? No. Maybe you'll want just the main image. Here we have new options for the widget. Let's check all plugins. Allowed file type, we only want image. We let the other ones as default. And click Save. Let's change the order a little. Add main image under title, tags under body. And don't forget to save the form. You might think that they will remain like that, but it's just temporary until you save the form. Now, let's suppose we don't like the date label. Click Edit for Date field. Let's change it to Project Date, to be more clear what date we want there. You see, the machine name has not changed. Only the label. Go to Node Add Form and refresh the page to view the latest look. So, we have title and under it main image field. It's a normal file upload. Then we have body field. To add a short description, click the Edit Summary link. A new field will appear where it's nice to enter a small description to show in teasers. Then we have tags field with autocomplete widget, the project date field with only start date. Why? Because we choose to make the end date optional and only start date required. Click Show End Date and the new section will appear. Required fields have a red mark next to them. End date does not have it. And the images field. Here we only have one button, Browse, and not the normal input field from above, from main image. Click Browse to see how the pop-up looks like. On Upload, you'll get the normal upload field. You also have two extra tabs, Library and My Files. On Library, you get No Files Available and also a search form. But since it's a black instance of Drupal, nothing exists yet. On My Files tab, you'll see the same thing. Here, only your files would appear. Okay, let's close this and add some content to see what happens. If you would have not added the Drupal module, you would have had to add content manually. But since we have it, go over Configuration, you can take a look at all of them. Then under Development, click Generate Content. We only want project nodes. You can delete what you have. 50 are enough. 1 week ago for creation date is okay. We should add also URL aliases for them, default language, and click Generate. Because of the image fields, you'll get some warnings, but don't worry about them. The nodes are created okay. Let's check them. Click Content. You see here a list of content, all of the type project, all with a new flag attached to them, and created by different accounts. Drupal module uses all accounts that exist inside the site and have the permission to create that kind of content type. Let's click a title and look at that content. Nice, right? Title, body, and 2 images, one for each field. Since we did not alter homepage, it will show a list with the latest added content that have the flag Promote to Front Page clicked. Click Home, and here's the list. Let's check another one that has a small description. This one, and click Read More. It has a really big body, but since on listing you saw just a few words, that means it only showed the summary and not the whole body. Again just one image. I wonder, do you remember when I told you that when you create a new field to check all of its settings? Then do you remember that when we've created the images field, we did not change the number of values? Then let's go back to Manage Field tab on the Content Edit page and check the Images field. You see, the field is limited to 1, but for this field we want multiple images. Change it to Unlimited. Now go back to Drupal page and generate the content again. Let's delete also all of the previous nodes. Just to show you, on content page you have a lot of content. You even have pagination. Now let's create just 10 nodes and delete the rest. Done. Let's check them on content page. See, the list is a lot smaller and you don't have the pagination. Click one. It looks the same. click another, and there you go, multiple images. One, two, three, and four. Let's talk about system pages and mostly about Node View pages. We'll be using panels to override the default layouts of the pages. Previous, when you've clicked the title link and viewed the content, you viewed the Node View page. In case you want two different content types to have different displays, this is how you can do it from the interface. I'm not getting now into the templates files part. If you go under Structure, you will see two submenus, Pages and Panels. Let's check Panels first. This is how Panels dashboard looks like. On the left you have the Create New part. You can add custom content, custom layout. On the bottom right you have a block where all of your custom content panes would appear. Then a block for custom layout. On the right center you have all the system pages that you can enable and override. On Layouts tab you can add or import layout. On Settings tab you have some extra settings. You can make all views available as panes. It's best to check everything from here, so that everything would be available to panels. You can also choose the default layouts that you want to have available. Now, Structure, then Pages. This is the main page from where you can change system pages and also add new pages. We have a table here that gives us some information about each page. You see the module that created the page, the machine name, the page title, the path of the page, where it is stored, and some operations links. You can override comment replay page, not add edit form, not view page, some search pages, taxonomy terms view page, and the user edit and user view page. You should also take some time here and read the tooltip for every line. Now, for Node View row, let's enable the page. You get options to enable and edit the page, or to edit and disable the page. Click Edit. Now let's add a variant. Let's give the title of Projects. Well, actually Project. Variant type, Panel. You can also choose here HTTP response code. We need to add selection rules. This way we can make the node view with different layouts for, let's say, articles and projects. Create variant. Now let's add a selection rule. For this example, I need the node type, but do take some time and check all of them. I only want project. See, you also have the option to negate the condition. Save. You can still edit the rule after or delete it. Continue. Now let's choose layouts. Layouts are grouped by columns. For 2 columns, we have this. For 3 columns, we have this. Let's choose this one and continue. You can disable Drupal blocks and regions. You can remove some CSS classes from body or add some to body. You can also add the CSS ID for this panel or CSS code. Continue. This is the page where you add the panel content. You have small wheels on every slice. If you click one, it gives you the option to add content or to change the style. In the middle part, I want to add the node content. You see here a lot of extra panes that you can add and that are related to Node. You can add just fields, Node author, Node comments, etc. Click on Node content. We can only select the node being viewed. Override title. This way the panel won't have extra title. This is not the node title. Link title to node. Here is about the node title, but since we are already on the node view page, we do not need to link. And we do not want for extra node links. Template identifier. This is used for when you want to override the default templates file. Build mode. Here you will get all available displays. We want the full content, but if you remember, you can also have displays with just a few fields. Finish. You can also drag and drop the panel to a different slice. Let's add content to the right side. What do we want here? Let's add node author. We do not want the name linked to the author profile. And again, check the override title box. What slide next? Left one. Let's go to another category. Activity. We have recent comments, who's new, and who's online. Let's display who's online. Again, override title. For top slice, let's check all of the categories. Menus. Let's add the main menu, override title and finish. Bottom slice. I have no idea what to add here. Maybe recent comments? But project content type will not have comments. Then still a menu. User menu. Now every slice is completed. Click Create variant. Then save. Let's check a node. But before that, let's add some new nodes of article and basic page types. Ten nodes. Refresh admin/content page. New nodes are there. See? Different types. All published. Let's add now a variant for article content type. We follow same steps. Oops, not project, article. Let's add two-column layout. Again, these settings form, but at this moment we do not need anything from here. Continue. On the left side, we should add the node content pane. Same config. On the right side, let's add comments. Node comments and comment form. Finish. Create variant and save. Let's generate now some article content types with comments. 5 nodes. Maximum number of comments 10. No, 50. Add URL aliases and generate. Back to content page and refresh it. Let's click on an article and on a project. This is the article. The CSS part looks messy, but that is not the scope of this video. You see, on the left you get the node content, and on the right, comments. A lot of them. This is the project. See, looks different. On the left you get the online user. On the right you get the author of the node. In the middle you get node content. And on the bottom, user menu. On top you have main menu. Wow, this was a really big lesson. If you have any questions, please add them as a comment in this video. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye!